Hi, she's Claire.
And he's Enzo.
And this is Too Long for a Voice Note, episode number 14.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, guys.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for joining us for another podcast.
Yes, we're so excited to be back. I'm always saying that as we go away for like 2 months. But yes. So, guys, thank you for listening to us as every single week. We are it makes us very happy to see the stats.
Definitely.
The stats. It's not the most important thing, obviously, but it's cool to see like you're listening to us, that we're growing in different platforms, that you are like following us on Instagram, interacting with us. It's really, really cool.
Exactly. So please do, if you haven't already, subscribe to us on YouTube. We're really trying to grow our YouTube channel at the moment, and subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc. If you feel like it, please leave us a review because it really does help us to grow.
Really, yes.
So yeah, as we're trying to grow the podcast at the moment, we would really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you very much, guys. We're really excited because I think very soon the restriction will be lifted in England. So we're going to be able to go back to video.
Can't wait.
It's a total different experience, right?
Definitely.
To do the videos is like...
I think we prefer it. I think we're really glad that we've been able to keep on recording together through this lockdown. But we really do love the camera. We're born to shine. Born to shine.
Born to shine.
So yeah, we'll be back filming some more video content if you do prefer to listen that way. But in the meantime, please do make sure you're subscribed on all of our platforms.
Please, and thank you so much. So yeah, we're excited this week to talk about what we're talking about this week.
Wow.
Who's going first? Who's going second?
I think it might be time for Claire's secret topic of the week. As you all know,
So.
It's still International Women's Month, so I have picked a female-centered topic. I'm sure you have as well. I'm suspicious that you have as well, but I don't know. We don't know what the other picks. So I'll explain why I wanted to talk about this in a bit, but I wanted to ask Enzo the question.
Ask, Claire, ask.
And ask you, our listeners, this question. Can men and women be friends? Can they just be friends? So the reason why I was thinking about this was because I feel like we should dedicate this podcast always to Edgar Ramirez, because I feel like there's not a context.
For some reason, there's always a name dropping, and it's like Edgar Ramirez is like, when he's gonna listen to the podcast and like reply to us or something, it's like, dude, where do I mention your name every single week?
So often. But if you all don't know by now, Edgar Ramirez is a Venezuelan actor. He's like actually becoming, well, he's been big in it for a while in the US, he's all around at the minute as well, because there was just that film called Yesterday on Netflix, which we actually watched last weekend, which is super cute with Jennifer Garner and everything like that. So he seems like a lovely, lovely man.
Yeah.
He's super popular in Venezuela. So what does this have to do with my topic, you might ask? I'm getting
Claire,
to it.
What are you talking about? It's just an opportunity to talk about Edgar. We know. It's like fan club, like number one, like...
Actually, he is, judging by Instagram, like best friends with Jessica Chastain, who is a famous actress. So it was his birthday in the week, and she posted a kind of like dedication Instagram thing to him and was like, oh, I love this man so much. And like, it was really cute. Like they were cuddling and like, you know, she was like snuggling. You saw it.
It's like, you are the flame of my...
Like twin flame. You're like my twin flame.
Something like super cheesy.
All of this kind of stuff. Yeah. And I was like... Basically, she's like all over him.
Yeah.
Like they're snuggling and everything. And I was like, this reminds me of me and Enzo. So I was thinking, there's just not a chance in hell that Edgar is straight. Like that for me is like a massive confirmation that he's gay. And I recognize that because you just wouldn't be like that with a straight guy. And this got me thinking. And it made me think about our friendship. So not to like out you on air, but Enzo is gay.
That's why I homosexual. That's why I hang out with him.
So that's why like with BFFs.
Let's go into a total different direction.
Well, Enzo's gay. I'm straight, and we're kind of like that. Like we're always hugging. Like we like can like hold hands or whatever. Like hug, whatever. It's not weird. Like it's But then why do I even say it's not weird? So it made me question why I wouldn't be like that with a straight man who's not my boyfriend, for example. So that's I think
I don't know, sometimes I feel like for women to having friendships with straight men, it's a bit complicated because it's always this thing or like, oh, what if he thinks it's something else? What if he thinks I'm being too friendly because I want to have sex with him, kind of thing. Which it comes back to the point that, I guess that's one of my interpretation of it, like men always think when a woman is nice is because she wants to get laid, kind of thing. Or maybe the other way around. Probably when a woman see a man being too friendly, it's like, oh no, he want to cross the line.
Yeah.
And instead the way of thinking, I think it's a very cultural thing, also very sexist as well, because I think men are teach to be like men. I feel in a lot of times men are teach, if they want to be real men, they need to have certain like attitudes or way of being, and it's always like something I heard a lot in my life is something like, you never lose a chance with a woman, kind of thing, you know. You're not a real man if you let a woman go, a chance to get laid with a woman go, kind of thing. You always need to be ready to make a move, because if not, you won't be perceived as a real man, or you will be perceived as gay.
Do you think that's very Latino, or do you think
probably that's part something of culturally, because even I heard friends of mine, like girlfriends, like saying like, oh, he doesn't make a move, he must be gay, kind of thing. That's super common to say, like, oh yeah, you know, like I've been flirting with him but he doesn't reply back, so I guess he's gay, probably, whatever. It's not like, well, maybe he's not, maybe he doesn't like you. But mentally and culturally, I think men are supposed to reply, you know. It's like what you should do if you need to prove your real manhood, kind of thing. That's how I see it and how I experience it. And I feel like if a man replies, let's say, or a man acts, it's like, oh, it's okay. But maybe it's like, oh no, he's crossing the line, but he doesn't do it. It's like, oh no, it's not he doesn't like me, it's because he's gay. You know, do you get like the...
It's really arrogant though.
It's very arrogant, but that's what I think it may come from. And I also feel, which is connected to something we talked recently about men being abusive. We shouldn't be like that, but it's a thing of like, it's not like all men are abusive and that. That's not, you know, let's not obviously we don't have to say, but obviously not all men. But the thing is, like, is this fear of like women need to take care of men because men can't do this or can't do that or can be abusive or can hurt you. Yes. So I think it comes from that as well. Like how, as a woman, you will be friends with a man, he may cross the line at any moment, he hurt you, abuse you, whatever. It's really fucked up. But I feel it comes from that. And I feel that socially, along the years, along the history, create like a big chunk of thing that it's growing and growing and growing. It doesn't stop. And we are always like, I don't know how to explain it, but it's very difficult to like touch the core of it. But it's like, it's basically stigmas, stigmas or like ideas or perceptions that are difficult to break now because, I think
it's really true. So what you're saying is you think that men and women, heterosexual men and heterosexual women can't be friends because women are under threat from men.
I think that's one thing. And I think like, because imagine, I'm asking you now this, it's like if you met a random guy at work and he's really, really friendly and he wants to go out with you for a beer, for example, it's not the first thing you think is like, oh, he's hitting on me.
100%.
That's the thing. And maybe he's not. Maybe he really want to have a friend, but it's this thing that people socially and culturally always is like, oh no, if it's a man and a woman, they have to be together. That's the only thing. They have to like go to sets. They have to be romantic. It has to be like that pressure thing. I think it's like a silent pressure. Like if something doesn't happen, it's because something is wrong
with one of them. Yeah, I agree.
Oh no, she's a lesbian or he's gay. No.
Exactly. I agree. Or it's like, because I think, you know, we always joke about this and how me and Enzo basically have like a fake marriage because everybody would be like, who is Enzo? Who is this guy? And it's like, we would comment about this at the early stage of our friendship because no one especially will know that you're gay, whatever that kind of means. But it's like, why the sudden interest? You can just be a new friend, but everybody obviously assumed, oh, that's Claire's new boyfriend.
Exactly.
But why does it need to be like that, even if you were straight? But the thing is, the truth is, we would not have the relationship that we have if you were a straight man.
And that's
I know that.
problematic.
And
as
it is
fuck.
problematic. So I was thinking, like, for example, me and Enzo will like share a bed sometimes.
Yeah.
I will never do that with a straight guy because you're never going to turn around to me and be like, you led me on, you shared a bed with me.
Yeah.
Also, this is horrible to say, but I don't think I would feel safe 100%, because I know with you it's like, not that like you're a woman, but it's the same level of like comfort, if you want to call it, as any of my girlfriends. Like it's literally the same, just because you're a man. But because I feel zero threat from you, and that's bad. That's really bad. I don't think I've ever shared a bed with a straight man apart from like my brother or a partner. Of course. You know?
I feel it's really complicated because I think it goes back to the thing like why we need to think or believe or to act that way. Like why, if a man is in a place alone with a woman, means that it has to be like some sexual tension be created, or it's automatic. It's not like that. It's not like we're not animals. It's like, you know what I mean? It's not like, oh, man, woman together, boom, reproduction. You know, it doesn't work like that. And I think it's very problematic because I think it's mentally. Imagine if this guy is obviously this is like an example, but I heard this and it's very cliche, but it is. If you're trapped with a man on an elevator, like cliche example, because something happened, you're trapped, both of you 6 hours in the elevator, and then nothing happens. You're just chatting, cool, you became friends, that's it. When this guy goes back to his male friends, to his group of friends, the first thing they will think is like, do you fuck with her? Do you do something with her? Something happened, right? And it's something like, oh no, nothing happens. Like, oh, why? Why she's not hot. She didn't like her. You know, that kind of like feel. I know it's very cliche and it's very like, not everybody, of course, like this, but that's the typical thing.
Yeah.
Well, maybe your girlfriends will ask you as well, like, oh, do you have sex straight away?
No,
or like, I don't know.
No, not at all. It wouldn't be the first.
Maybe it would be like, oh, you know, maybe they will be scared, like, oh, you were with a man all these hours in that.
You're right.
Right?
You're
probably like
exactly right.
All these hours with a man. And what if the man was a rapist? You know?
Yeah.
It will come. Or what if he's abusive? You know, and it's
it's like a deep cultural thing. And this another thing that I struggle with when I've attempted to have, because I don't have any straight close male friends. You know, the closest straight man that I'm friends that is my brother. You know, and aside from that, like I only have gay male friends and then girlfriends. And I would always find it really problematic when I try to be friends with a straight guy and they will have a girlfriend. I really felt that need to like declare that like I'm seeing someone, I'm with a guy, or like, or something along those lines.
I'm not a threat to you. I'm not gonna do anything with your boyfriend. That's so.
Even though I'm thinking of a specific person, but even though it was like very clear that like I definitely wouldn't go there 100%, but I felt the need to be okay with the girlfriend, or like, oh, we're meeting for a drink, do you want to bring blah blah blah, to make it like I don't want you alone because I'm not trying to steal your man.
Yeah, that's
and
so like
I think it's really sad in a way, because I think we're like limiting ourselves to a lot of really great relationships, and you might have like so many interests or something with, you know, that kind of thing. So what I'm curious about is if this is just a heterosexual thing, or maybe it's not. Maybe I'm reading too deeply into it. For example, Enzo, you have a lot of really good close friends who are gay men. So you could technically be with them, right? But this isn't like, that's not a conversation that you're having because like you're just friends. So why is it? And it maybe might not be like a heterosexual gay thing. It might just be a personality thing.
It could be as well, but I think, let's say in the gay war, all of that, I think rules are very different, and that not a lot of them are very different than what a straight war is in a way. So that would make sense that wouldn't happen. Like, for example, like what you just say, like if you have a friend and the friend has a boyfriend, like you will need to make very clear that you don't want anything with her man. It's like, no, I'm seeing somebody, or like I don't like him at all. Like I don't feel the need to do that if my friend has a boyfriend. unless there's something that, you know, some kind of weird thing that obviously happened, or like something like, okay, it's a weird vibe. But I don't, not at all. I don't feel that pressure in any way.
Yeah.
Also because I don't know if it's interesting, but I don't think so. I don't see that, not in that way, but I think because I wouldn't feel threat by...
Exactly.
I wouldn't feel like threat by another man. I mean, unless, you know, obviously as things, like somebody has a gun or something, or somebody looks like aggressive, of course, a threat as everything. But if I'm in the same space with another man, I wouldn't feel a threat, which for a woman naturally it's like that, because you always, it's like, oh, men can do that.
It's like, it's often, I don't mean to sound like kind of offensive, but it can often be like any man can be a threat. Like, obviously you can be physically stronger than some man, but it's kind of unusual in a way.
I know what you mean.
Like, most men could probably overpower me if they wanted to. So
it's such a deep cultural problem. I think, like, I feel like the only way to change, probably it's changing slowly, but I think the way to change it is, like, if you have a kid or if you have a family, like a young closest family member, try to, like, teach them things like, at the end, it's very connected to being the sexist kind of thing. Like, if you're a man, it doesn't mean that you need to be with a woman. If you are a man, doesn't mean that you need to force anything. You're still as men as, you know, like, you don't have to prove anything. You don't need to make a move. You don't need to look, you're in power. You don't need anything to be more or less of a man, you know?
To wrap it up, I personally feel that straight men and straight women, for example, can be friends if everybody's really clear about what they want and what they're looking for.
That could be a solution. That could be something to do.
It's really shady to be like, I want to be her friend.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I definitely want to be your friend. Yeah. But actually you low-key want to fuck them. So no, I think if, you know, you're very open about, like, this is purely just a friendship, like, I support your other relationships, like, and that, like, a genuine friendship, it's just so, like, closed-minded to think that you can't have a relationship in that way. So, but saying it's closed-minded, I also think it is kind of sadly very unrealistic.
Yeah.
And I don't see myself, I would be shocked if I make a really good friend who's a straight man. I
think if you maybe met a straight man that it's very open and, like, willing to talk and, like, discuss, and maybe if you have this conversation, like, you know, like, let's be in the same page. Are we okay being friends because I want to, like, you know, it's a cringy conversation.
It's so cringy.
It's sad that we need to think that we need to do it. Why have to do it? But maybe that could be, like, a solution, because, you know, it's a generational thing. We're in the middle of something, into something and changes.
Agreed.
So maybe, or you just ignore it and nobody has, like, a straight people doesn't become friends, or they just be like, you know, are we okay as friends? Do you like this?
Yeah.
And hopefully the other person won't feel offended, because it doesn't have to feel offended, but that probably will be the response, like, oh, well,
I get you.
Anyway, it's
complicated. It doesn't need to be. I think we're all missing out on great relationships. Everyone needs to be respectful. So
if somebody has, like, if you're a straight woman, straight man, if you are a straight friend,
definitely
please tell us our story, because it's really interesting.
Please do correct us if we're wrong as well. I think we would love to be proven wrong as well.
Yeah, because the thing is, like, it's a difficult, it's like a tricky one, but it's also a personality thing at the end, as you say. I think so. It's also related to that.
Yeah, definitely. But it shouldn't be tricky.
Anyway,
thank you, love. So moving on to
Enzo's secret topic of the week. Okay, well, because we're still on International Women's Month, this is the last episode of, probably want to still talking about these topics during the year, but this is the last one, always. I want to talk something that I didn't know exists, and it's something called Equal Pay Day.
Okay.
You know about this?
Yeah, kind of.
I learned about this, like, a day ago, which, for those who doesn't know, Equal Pay Day is the symbolic day dedicated to raising awareness on the gender pay gap. So I think it started in the United States, and the date it changed every single year. So this year in particular, it was the 24th of March this month. Okay. For a woman, a man earns this quantity of money in a year, right? Mm-hmm. For a woman, it takes the same year plus a number of months to earn a year of payment.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So it takes a woman a year and a bit to earn as much as a man has earned in a year.
Exactly. Basically. The figures are a bit shocking because basically
Can I ask,
it shows,
is this in the US or
it's in the US, but I discovered that also in the UK they talk about it.
Okay, so it's
the thing is,
global.
like, in the UK, for example, it's illegal like a man earn more money than a woman in theory, but it still happens. For example, for a Asian woman, it will take until March 9 to earn what a man earned in a year. So basically, like last year plus this year until March 9 to get the same money, right?
Yeah.
For all women overall, it will be March 24. For a black woman, it will be August 3.
Oof.
So it will be like a year and a half
8
to earn.
months, yeah.
For a native women, it will be September 8. And for Latina women, October 21. Oof. So basically, Latina women are paid half of a man overall.
They're basically getting like a year on top
to get the same money. So basically, you're working almost a year. For 2 years you work, half is for free. That's basically how it works. So the statistics are really crazy. And that's why the date change every single like year. Depends on that year how much extra take for women to earn this money. So for this year it's March 24 because it's the total statistics for all women. That's why this year was 24. Like sometimes it could be November, sometimes it could be August. So I found this like really crazy. And when you see the numbers and see, for example, like a Latina woman, from each dollar that a man earn, a Latina woman gets 0.55. So half. So it's very, very shocking when I was discovering this exists. And I was wondering with this. First, obviously, we know, like, especially the last few years, the whole thing with the gender gap, it's being more visible because, stars and celebrities and like movie stars are coming up talking about this, like they're getting paid less, blah, blah, blah. I wonder, like, if you ever felt like, or if you have any experience like that, like you felt or you knew that you were getting paid less than a man in your same level.
Yeah, it's always been such a fear of mine, actually, to kind of learn that. And it has, I've thought about it at my current job as well, like, what are they on? Are we on the same kind of thing, on the same level? I've never really known, actually, what a colleague is on, because I don't know if it's just a British thing. I guess typically, like, we're quite closed, but it's, we talk about money between us in friendships. We all know what the other is on. Yeah. But I can't even imagine, like, asking a colleague, like, what are you on? And I think that's how this kind of, like, bad behavior and bad business practices kind of thrive.
For sure.
Because they rely on that. Because, I don't know how I would ask that. So I have no idea. And people don't publish that on LinkedIn, for example. So a male colleague could be on more than me. I would be shocked
to know, kind of like thing.
I would be scared to know, you know. If I found out, then like,
I found it like really crazy because when I was reading about this, there's a lot of fear around it because women are afraid of getting fired, for example, if they ask for what is right, which is part of the problem. And which, if we take it for like we go back to what happened in Hollywood, that all the actors were saying like, why women... I don't remember,
Me Too, or for the pay less
I think for the pay less thing. Who started this? It was like...
Jennifer Lawrence.
Jennifer Lawrence.
Like Jennifer Lawrence and Amy Adams found out they were being paid less by like Mark Wahlberg.
And I think something with like Ryan Gosling, I think he said like... I think Ryan Gosling said if he's not getting the pay as I am getting paid, I'm not doing the movie. I think it was a whole drama around that, which is interesting when you see this happen. So like on these big companies, corporations, and like with celebrities, with famous people. Imagine how it happens with like minorities or like women as you, like in your daily job.
I think for like, if you take like a regular kind of person, like I would be, I think women are, because of the way that we're socialized, we're scared to like ask, not ask like, what are you being paid? I mean, that's something that I would be scared to ask and find out, but scared to ask for more or what we deserve. And I think we often know that, like, that's not really like a new kind of thing. Like, we know that we should ask, and men tend to be better at asking, but that's just pure socialization and purely how men have been brought up to kind of believe that they
deserve more.
They're gonna be the breadwinner, for example. They deserve to earn more. And women, it might not always, it depends on your background, because
as well,
of course, for me, like, it was always like I had a like very hardworking mum. Like, I didn't have like a stay-at-home mum, so it was always that the kind of narrative was always like, you're going to go to university, you're going to get a good job, you're going to fend for yourself. But that might not be the case for a lot of women. True. So then I feel like as women in general, I'm not saying at all that we're naturally like this. I'm saying that this is the way that society has set things up for us, is that we feel like we should be grateful for what we're given. And that's something that's really, you have to like read self-help books. Like, I love to like listen to podcasts, or like there's a lot of women, really strong women that I really admire. I know it sounds silly, but like I really admire Jessica Alba. She's somebody who, well, she's a Latina woman. Like, she has set up her own company. Like, she's a billionaire. She's a self-made billionaire, and she always kind of preaches like, ask for what you deserve. You know, you need to push it. And I think, number one, I think that's easier said than done. I think it's easier to do that when you're Jessica Alba and you have some leverage. Course. But presumably she didn't start from high up. She had to learn that. I feel
that the change is there already. It's happening. And I feel, thanks to movements like Me Too and all of this have been happening, I think like managers or men or whoever's in charge, if it's a man who's in charge, if the manager or the owner of the company, I think they will be afraid if they don't pay attention to you. I mean, it's, you know, it's fucked up what I'm saying. The thing is, like, I think people knows now a bit better. I want to believe that women deserve as a man, so as a woman the same as men. So if a woman comes to you asking for, okay, what are my colleagues earning, they will feel like on the responsibility to do it, because not something can get on them, because it will be like, oh, they're being like not you know what I mean?
Yes, but you know
which
what?
Is sad.
Immediately what I thought when you were saying that was, I would never do that because I don't want to be difficult. And this is a problem that we have. And again, it's kind of what I was saying earlier, like, these bad things rely on silence and rely on you being complicit. Because if somebody called you difficult, what would your reaction be? If you asked your manager, hey, what's he getting paid? What's she getting paid? And they were like, Enzo, like 30K, okay? Like, and then, but I'm not really happy that you asked. Like, why do you have to ask for in a pandemic? And they were like, you're being a bit difficult. How would you feel?
Like, whatever. I asking for what I need to ask. I wouldn't, like, if I know I'm asking for something that it's my right and I need to know, and I'm not asking for something out of place, I'm not a difficult one. You're the one who's not giving me the information I need. Okay,
that's just so not the attitude that I will have. And I feel that a lot of women would have that. I would be like, oh my gosh, like, they think I'm difficult, the horror. I can't speak for all women, and Enzo can't speak for all men, but I would imagine that generally might be the kind of response.
I totally get it,
If I ask my manager, like, how much is he on? And then they said, there's actually, like, you know, we're in a pandemic. Like, you should be grateful to have this job, let alone a creative job. Like,
I know what you mean.
And then they're like, you're being really difficult. That will be really horrifying. And I would feel afraid of creating waves and feeling like unsafe, maybe. And that's how this stuff goes unchallenged, I think.
It's very complicated, because I feel like to create changes like this, it's a lot of pressure. And that's why I think men can help a lot, because that's the place where you can, like, step up for your colleague and being like, you know, of course, if she does it by herself, she will be seen as difficult. It will make her life difficult in the company. So why, if I can help in a way, I will make a move to, like, and not because I'm a man and I can help, because, oh my God, not in a patronizing way, but I think everybody can help to a change.
I agree.
It's interesting. I was reading, like, when I found this information, I was really going through it. I was like, but if I'm a woman, I want to do this, what are the steps? What I should do? Like, if I think I'm getting paid less and there's like a injustice here, what I should do? Well, and the things they say, like, what you should do, the first thing is talk with your colleagues. It's like somebody you trust in the company, like. So, and it's your same level. So, sorry, do you think, how much do you earn? Can I ask you, because I'm maybe I have a doubt, like I'm earning less, or they're not paying me enough, that I'm not being appreciated enough. So can you share with me how much you're? Of course, it's an awkward conversation, but it's like, that's what they said. Like, what can you do first? This is the first route. If you don't get your answers, you can basically go to HR and ask, like, hello. Even though they specify that some companies, they have some how you say, like baselines that you can talk about money and you can talk about salaries.
Oh, sorry, not base. So you mean like a kind of regulation that you...
Kind of regulation, like they say, like, you need to read your contract, because some companies, they say, like, they don't allow, like, talk about
Shady.
salaries. Yeah, that's where it comes. It's very complicated. So they say, if that's the case and you couldn't get, if you try with your colleagues, you don't get the information. If you go to your manager, doesn't get information. You go to HR, doesn't get information. That's when you go legal, and you can actually, you're in your all right to ask, like, a lawyer, because when you get to a lawyer, you can actually have the legal right, thanks to all these laws that exist and regulations that in theory that are there, to ask for how much people as men in my same range are earning, and why I'm earning less if you have enough suspicions of it. So I know it's complicated, but they say, like, I don't know, maybe if I was a woman, I wouldn't get into that, because maybe I would think, like, oh, this is complicated, there's a lot of trouble, like, it would take me a lot of, like, my time. But the truth is it's very unfair, and I think a lot of people in power, they take advantage of that, because they say, like, oh, they won't be bothered to do all of that, or because they won't like to be seen as complicated and problematic. But I think that's where everybody can help. And if you have, like, a colleague coming to you and the same how much you're earning, like, at least do the minimum thing and be like, this is how I'm earning, and and like, so you can have your conclusions. But it's really fucked up, because again, as a man, I will never think of that, and I will never think that I'm gonna get paid less than somebody else.
Yeah.
Because of, you know what I mean, like, which for women probably is something like,
I know what you mean.
Common to think, like, oh yeah, maybe I'm getting paid less, and what I'm gonna do now.
Probably like a very, very real reality for a lot of people. Yeah, I don't think I've had any real examples of that in my actual life, but who's to know? Because you never ask, right? I could be being underpaid now compared to a man who's on the same level as me.
Oh, that would be crazy.
Like,
I don't know. Sometimes I feel like, I don't know. Maybe it's just like a idea I have, but I feel like in London they're a bit more. London. Well, I say London is my experience, not England, but in London they're a bit fair with payments and all this type of thing. I think legally,
maybe.
I don't know why I have this. I don't feel like.
You mean compared to
other places? I mean, I don't feel like it's that shady here for reasons, but maybe it is. I mean, I don't think, like, in my company, like, my colleagues a person in my same level as a woman, like, deliberately, you see? Like, deliberately, they will be like, oh, she's gonna earn less than him because he's a man.
I think it's the industries that we work in, though. Yeah, I think it's very industry specific, and I wonder if, like, for example, if you're a banker, this is my own stereotypical view, but I wonder if you're a banker and something a bit more like that, I wonder if in that kind of industry it might be a little bit more...
True.
I wonder if you have to kind of, like, do things or kind of, like, act like a man. I'm doing air quotes now, everybody.
Quotes, yeah.
So,
which is true, because probably if a woman wants to be, like, the CEO of a bank, imagine how difficult.
Of course,
that
like, we don't
is.
have any actual experience. This is like a photographer and a video editor talking right now. Like, so we're just like
we're making pictures and videos and having fun. No, but
like, that's kind of what I might imagine.
I totally feel the same.
Might go in.
It would be interesting to know, like, if you have any experience, guys, of something like that. Obviously, if it's too personal or no, do not want to share. But if you can share also, like, an overall idea.
Definitely,
an overall example of something. It will be good, because I find it really interesting. I never really thought about it, like, properly as I did, like, I don't know, 2 days ago with the pay gap day. I was like, wow, yeah, it's like, and it's crazy. It's going for so long, and when you see the statistics, like, a woman needs to work, some women need to work half of a man to get 1 year of salary. It's like,
do you know
what
I think,
the fuck?
I don't know if this is, like, a bad thing, but I feel like I'm becoming slightly, like,
Crazy feminist.
I mean, I've always been like a crazy feminist, but like I'm starting to become slightly like immune. Not that I think that is right at all, but when you read those statistics, I was like, I'm not even surprised anymore.
True.
It's just like endless. And I think if we can take away anything from this very heavy Women's Month, I mean, a lot of shit has gone down this month of March, Women's Month. Like, we've just got such a long way to go. And like, clearly that like, we're not even surprised by those statistics.
Which is shit.
Or like that domestic abuse rates are going up, or like women hold their freaking keys behind their hands, or like whatever it is. I think it's just taught us all that like we should be surprised by this, and like there's so much work that needs to be done.
Culturally, I think everything educational and culturally is very like
culturally together, not men and women separate, not men are the enemy, not women are asking for it. We need to work together and culturally fit, and it's down to everybody, like everything, like for example saving the environment, like it's your own job to educate yourself if you're an adult.
It's an individual kind of thing to do.
100%.
And I feel like at the end of the day we're in this moment in life, like everything, it's like it's like a conclusion of everything that's been doing wrong for so many decades and years and generations. Like everything that's been doing in a wrong way, it's getting to this point now that we need to deal with it, because now we're more aware, we have more social media, we have more resources, so like everything's slapping in our faces every single day, and it's like well, you know, like I think everything is now getting to the point like what we're gonna do with all of this, how we're gonna solve all of this, because before it wasn't that visible or it was still in the process. But I think from now, I think our generation especially, and the younger as well, the youngest, needs to really, it's difficult for enough to show like sound dramatic, but it's difficult because we need to do a lot of work all the time. Every single thing is like a thing you need to reflect on or think, or like it's not like it is how it is. No, it's something is you need to go into it, and that's tiring itself. But that's I think that's what I guess previous generation got, like wars and like different things. So. This is
it's just like a deeper level of things
because
now.
It's like ingrained.
Because also we're not in survival mode now. Like our grandparents would have been coming off of a war. We're in a place mode. Where it's like, well, we are in a different kind of survival mode because of the environment. But like, it, you know, we can think about like you can afford time to think about like gender roles and everything when you wouldn't have had that before.
Back in the day.
But you're totally right. Like we're at like a crossroads. Like how we go in so many different ways. So well,
dearie
me, nice topic, love.
Well, thank you. It's like thank you. It's like
thank you.
It's like, well, we're starting a new month soon, so let's see what comes with April. Hopefully something, and hopefully all these topics like give you something to think about, or like if you have experience or something that you need to reflect or share with friends or
definitely.
Family,
and please
whatever,
do, if you are a strong lady and you have an example of how you've asked for the money that you deserve, please do tell us in the comments. We would love to hear your stories.
Yeah, so well, thank you guys, hope you enjoyed this episode, and we are here, we are
done, we are ready.
Present. We're ready.
We'll be back next week, so thank you guys so much for listening.
See you guys.
Bye guys.